You see these things that are like, oh, thank God that you didn't answer some of my prayers. And to
Right.
be honest, and I never thought I would have said this, but in some ways I do feel that way of like, well, thank God we are in this position because I've had so much opportunity to like mature and be so grounded in who I am.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't that person,
Yeah.
back in the day. So like there's obviously pain and grief, which is such an interesting thing too, like grieving what you don't have.
Mm,
That's something that, like, I think we talk about grief a lot as losing something that you did have, but the grief of not yet having something is a very interesting thing to navigate. Um, but there's also a lot of, gratitude throughout this process too. So it's a mix of it all.
yeah, absolutely. I love what you said at the beginning of that, of just talking about like how the perspectives, it's so easy for people to comment on like
Yeah.
you're not getting this because of energetics or whatever, and or you're not like living a life that's inviting to that. I love that you said that like that's been an edge for you, because I think that that's an edge for all of us,
Yeah.
no matter what the situation is. And also there's so much data in the world that says that that's just not true. Like you said,
No.
it's like not black and white in that way. like like people who are not fit to be parents are parents every day. And like
Yeah.
I no disrespect to everybody out there, I understand that we're all doing our best, and sometimes our best is like really shitty, as
Yeah.
humans. And that is not like, just saying to everyone that like who's listening, no judgment at all whatsoever, but like that was a conversation, my previous partner and I had, when it came to like to children, and
Mm-hmm.
being like, kind of like, well, we don't have any money, or we don't have this at the time, because it was 5 years
Mm-hmm.
ago. And which I think is so interesting, that like we've kind of the parallels in our journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And my response to him was literally like, crackheads have babies.
For real.
And
Yeah.
like that's maybe not the correct term, but it's like people who are literally on drugs have babies and figure
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
Like we can figure it out. And just really like looking at how it doesn't always matter. Like I don't think that the environment or whatever, like
Yeah.
trusting that you have done everything. And like also I I know the life you live, and I know like what you
Yeah.
do, and knowing that like the space is there, and being able to like trust your higher power, trust the
Yeah.
process, and meet that in its fullness, and
Yeah.
know that like exactly it's not black and white like that. And I just really love that you brought that forward, because I think so many people listening, or maybe who are walking a similar path, or
Mm-hmm.
people who are just yearning for something, like
Mm-hmm.
it's really easy to get online and hear the like, oh, even in relationships, like I've had different periods of like coaches or things I was working with where it was like really about like calling in your
Yeah.
person. And there was often moments where I was like, but is it that like, is it that prescriptive? Is it that like,
Right.
like, is me believing this about myself really going to like make them arrive, or is it just not the time,
Yeah.
And also just to touch on the dream side of it,
Mm-hmm.
girl, I think dreams are so much more informative and like deep
Mm-hmm.
than we can even comprehend. And
Yeah.
it's really a journey into like other realms and
Yes.
subconscious like uh beliefs and things about ourselves, and also just like it is a place for spirit to visit us and send us
Mm-hmm.
messages. And I wholeheartedly believe that. And honestly, so like any indigenous belief will guide you to that. I mean, so it doesn't even matter like what, a lot of beliefs all kind of circle back to
Mm-hmm.
like dreams are
Mm-hmm.
dreams are here for us to like give us seeds.
Yeah.